start by telling you a little bit about who I am. I actually went to UNH, and so I grew up in Derry, so I don't know if anyone happened to grow up in Derry. So a couple of hands go up there, awesome. And so really some things to know about me is I love basketball. So does anyone like basketball? Does anyone play basketball? All right, it's a lot of hands, that's awesome. And so I love the game of basketball, I like skiing, and I like surfing. So those are some of my favorite things, and obviously right now we're exiting the ski season and we're going into the surf season, right? And so professionally, what I've done is after UNH, learned about the world of software and technology. And so I had the privilege and pleasure to work at a number of early stage software companies here in the state, and I'll tell you about one of those cool projects that I've had the opportunity to work on in a minute. Really overall, in the next couple of minutes we have together, I'm excited to talk about leadership, I'm excited to talk about some of the inventions that I've got to work on, and more than anything else, just here to celebrate all the incredible work that all of you are doing and the ideas that you're taking forward. And so, if you can see this video, this is actually a project that I've worked on for over 3 years. It's using AI to analyze basketball games. And so you can see it knows which player is which. It's tracking the ball. And so we had this crazy idea, and I love basketball, right? And so we had this crazy idea, what if we could use technology and computers to try to analyze basketball? So instead of having to sit there and do every point, every rebound, every assist, that's a lot of work. And so what we did is we used technology to be able to analyze these games. So at the end of the game, you get how many points did I have, how many rebounds did I have. And it all started because we had an idea and a passion for basketball. And then we actually, after years of work, were able to make this thing happen. It's called Sports Visio, and it's now used in over 10 countries, and tens of thousands of people across the world use it. So where I wanted to start today is actually two businesses, the very first two businesses that I ever started. And the first one I started when I was 12 years old. And so I remember so vividly, I was driving with my parents. It was after a big snowstorm, and they were driving me. And I was looking at all my neighbors' houses, and I noticed that the front walkways or the back porches had a bunch of snow on them, right? And so I was curious. I was like, I wonder if people would, would want their not their driveways, right? They have big piles for that, but their walkways, if they want them shoveled. And so I decided to be brave. I decided to put all my snow pants on and then walk over to the neighbor's house and borrow my parents' shovel and knock on the door and say, hey, my name's Jack, I'm in the neighborhood. Is there any chance you would be interested in having me shovel your driveway? And your walkway? And a lot of them were like, yeah, sure, that sounds helpful. I don't want to do it, right? It's cold out there. And so if this kid wants to help me out, then that sounds great. And so I started doing that, and I started bringing friends with me. And so every time there was a snowstorm, if it was a weekend or after school, I'd have my route. I had 4 or 5 houses when it snowed that I had to go, and my job was to shovel the snow. And what was so cool about this is I had that idea, and then I decided, I wonder if I'm brave and I take the chance and I go and I knock on someone's door, I wonder if this will help them. And what it turned out is it absolutely did. And 12 years old, I was able, they would pay me $20 a house, $25 a house to show the door, which for me that was incredible, right? Like I could show an idea that I had, and then people could give me money so I could buy cool stuff at the school store wherever I wanted, right? And so that was the first ever company I started when I was 12 years old. The second company has anyone ever heard of a sneakerhead? So sneakerhead, when I was in middle school, was a huge thing. And it was basically people who wanted to buy, sell, and trade sneakers and collect all these really cool sneakers, shoes. And so there were a bunch of kids in my school who were doing it. There was these Facebook groups of people who were trying to buy, sell, and trade. And so I got really passionate about sneakers and trying to get all the cool sneakers that I wanted. And so I ended up going to Boston. I couldn't drive, so I had friends of mine who would drive me to Boston to these sneaker conventions. A bunch of people get together and like to buy, sell, and trade shoes. And in doing that, I realized, wait a minute, why do I have to go all the way to Boston to follow this hobby, this passion of mine, right? And eventually, I hosted one of the first ever sneaker events here in New Hampshire. So instead of having to drive all the way to Boston, we could do it here. There was over 100 people that came to this really fun event that I started. we were able to donate over $1,000 to my childhood Boys and Girls Club, which made me really proud to be able to give back to them. And I did this when I was a freshman, hosted the first event when I was a freshman in high school. And it was all because I had this passion and I wanted to try to help solve a need, which is how do we get people that have the same passion that I do together? And it was so much fun, and it was so rewarding to see over 100 people come to this idea that I had. Thank you. And so this next idea I want to talk about is when I came to UNH. And so growing up in high school, I was in class office, and I was trying to get involved as a leader in the school. And I realized how hard it was to try to find volunteering opportunities or local nonprofits in the community where you can give back, so things like the soup kitchen or the Boys and Girls Club. And so this was really a pain where I tried to call these places, and I got up the courage to try to call them. But what ended up happening is they'd say, "Oh, you're not 18, sorry, we don't accept volunteers that aren't 18." Or, sure, but you need to coordinate with these people. And I just wanted to show up and try to get back and help people, right? Like I didn't want to do all this stuff. And so I had this crazy idea, what if I built an app? And what if that app helped connect young people, students in New Hampshire, to passion and career-aligned volunteering opportunities? And so the only issue is I didn't actually know how to build an app. So that's kind of a problem if you want to build a volunteering app, right? And so I met a friend at UNH who is an engineer, and he knew how to build software. And so we came together, we partnered, and used his strengths of learning how to use software and my big idea for trying to help make volunteering easier in New Hampshire. And we built New Hampshire's first ever student volunteer network. And so today I'm so proud to share, the volunteering network ended up helping over 1,000 young people here in New Hampshire. So facilitated thousands of hours of youth service of kids volunteering in the community. It was so cool and rewarding to see an idea that I had, a pain point that I experienced, right? It's really hard to volunteer, but it shouldn't be. It should be fun and easy to get involved and give back to the community, right? And we came together, we built this app, and you can actually see what the app looked like on the left side there. And put it out in the world and help thousands of people. And so it all starts with an idea and having the courage to try to figure things out. We don't know things when we get started, right? Like, I didn't know how to build an app when I started, but I took small steps and eventually figured out and found the right people, and we were able to do it. And so for all of you, service and volunteering and leadership are such important things as you're going through your journey and you're thinking, I'm on my sports team or I'm in student council, right? And these are all areas, if you're courageous and you decide to try to get involved, try to help, make your community better. Leadership opportunities are what it takes to be a great mentor and a great entrepreneur or someone who starts companies. And so all of you, I'm so proud of the leadership that you've already shown and the courage that you've shown to be here today, to share your ideas, to chase something that you're excited about or curious about. And by taking action on that and by being a leader, you're making such a great positive impact. All right, so this is the final thing I have for you, all right? Then we'll get to the awards. So the takeaway I want to leave you with is all of that stuff that we talked about, right? When I was shoveling wanted to shovel the driveways, right? And I saw my neighbors didn't have their driveways cleared, right? That was just a small thing that I noticed, and then I had the courage to try to borrow up here and shovel, and then go out and ask people if they would want to shovel, right? It was a small thing, but then eventually, every snowstorm, I go out with my friends, and I had a route, and it was, business that I started again when I was 12 years old. And so, with Project Happy, the same thing. I wanted to make it easier to volunteer, and then we found, people, and we built a team, and we built this great thing. And the thing I want to encourage you is all of the stuff that you did today, right, and all the stuff that we're celebrating here, you had an idea, you pursued the idea, and you made it happen. And so that mindset is what it takes to really build great, incredible things in the world. And so there's this guy who founded the iPhone, right? Like you see, your parents have iPhones, maybe some of you might even have iPhones. CEO of that company originally is a guy named Steve Jobs. And Steve Jobs has this great quote where he says that your life changes when you realize that all of the things in the world are made up by people that were no smarter than you, and that you can change the world, you can influence the world, right? There's no magic innovator or no magic inventor. It's people who had a passion or were curious about something and they took action on it. And so, with that, again, I just want to say, you all have inspired me. The work that you're doing is so incredible, and I'm so proud of each and every one of you for being courageous, for being here today, and I'm so excited to see all the great things that you do in the future. So thank you very much.